You talk to these people personally, and if you get to know something, then you let me know, or else I'll come with you tomorrow. Okay?
Good morning, sir.
Oh, Paul. Today is your first day, huh?
Yes, sir, it is.
Paul, meet him. This is Amritpal. He's our outreach worker. And Amritpal, he's our new outreach worker, Paul. This report is fine. You do one thing. You go to the hotspot at Lal Kuan and give me the report. You can give me the report by tomorrow. Thanks. Look, Paul, field is the best place to begin with your orientation. It's good that you've come directly to the field. Look, Paul, first important point to remember is that we work for the injecting drug users, referred to as IDUs in short.
Okay.
And our main objective is to prevent the transmission of HIV/AIDS among these injecting drug users. And this is done through IDU interventions that follow a harm reduction strategy under the National AIDS Control Program.
What, sir? Harm reduction? What is this harm reduction strategy, sir?
Look, Paul, harm reduction aims to reduce the harms associated with the use of drugs in people who are unable or unwilling to stop the usage of drugs. So the focus is on the prevention of harm rather than on the prevention of drug use itself. And the primary focus is on people who continue to use drugs.
But tell me, sir, does this also include people who inject drugs?
Yes, especially those who inject drugs. See, these people are at the greatest risk of HIV infection due to their unsafe practices like sharing of used needles, sharing of syringes, and sharing of other injecting equipments.
But, sir, what can we do to prevent this sharing?
We try to prevent sharing through the Needle Syringe Exchange Program, which we also call NSEP. This involves, among others, providing new needles and syringes to the IDUs as and where they are.
Okay.
Under this program, we also collect the used needles and syringes to ensure that they are not reused, shared, or cause infection through accidental needle stick injuries.
So tell me, sir, then how do we reach these IDUs?
Look, Paul, the key to the NSEP are the peer educators or the PEs. These peer educators are also IDUs, either current or recovering. So they know the various injecting hotspots and also the IDUs, and they can reach them with needles, syringes, and other services. Come, let me introduce you to one such PE.
Yes, sir.
Zakir, can you please come here? Zakir, this is Paul, our new outreach worker.
Hello.
And this is Zakir, our peer educator.
Okay. Oh, so you are a new captain.
Yes, he's your new captain. Look, Paul, each outreach worker looks after 4 to 5 peer educators, and he's also responsible for the work they do.
Okay.
So your team of peer educators with you as their leader will reach out to all the IDUs in the hotspots and try to ensure that every episode of injection is a safe one.
Then, sir, this must be involving a lot of planning. Am I right, sir?
Of course. A thorough planning is required to ensure that quality service is provided regularly and also continuously. And I, as the project manager, lead the planning exercise with our outreach team, that is, the outreach workers and the peer educators. And let me tell you, often the counselor also assists me in this job. I hope you are getting it.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Now I understand. And how is this done?
So, I think the DIC would be the best place to discuss this in detail. I would explain the entire planning process to you. It'll be good for you to also see the various planning tools that we use. So, let's go to the DIC, okay? Zakir, you please continue with them, okay? Come, let's go.
Remember, it is important to check that we are injecting in the veins and not in the arteries. And also remember that it is dangerous to inject even in the veins in the groin, neck, face, breast, and penis.
Oh, please come in. Have a seat. Come in. Good morning, Manpreet. How are you? All is well? So this is your report. Oh yeah, Manpreet. This is Paul, our new outreach worker.
Hello.
And Manpreet is also an outreach worker working for the last 3 years, and he'll be of a great help to you. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Manpreet. So, to begin the planning process, it is crucial to first understand where the IDUs can be found, that is, where the various hotspots are. And for this, we start by drawing a social map. Come, Paul, I'll explain it to you what a social map is all about. Come. Look, this is a social map. And who makes this social map? Outreach workers and peer educators. This social map depicts the main roads and other landmarks of the city. You can see the clock tower here. And you can also see these red marks. These are the hotspots. Apart from this, this is the civil hospital. Besides all this, ICTC, ART and DOTS Center are also shown in this map.
So a social map not only tells us where the IDUs can be reached, but also gives a complete picture of the NSP coverage area.
That's correct. And this is updated every 3 months or updated quarterly. In case we identify new hotspots, or if there is a change in the location of some health centers, then we update our social map accordingly. So this is what a social map is all about.
But sir, how does it help in understanding how many IDUs need needle syringes in a particular hotspot?
A social map does not tell us anything about this. For that, we need to move on to the next step, and that is called spot analysis. This is done to get a detailed understanding of each hotspot. Spot analysis provides details about individual IDUs in the spot, types of drugs they inject, and their frequency of injecting. It also tells us the time of the day when they are available in these spots. For this, the ORWs sit with the peer educators and complete the spot analysis based on the information provided by their peer educators, which they collect during the risk and vulnerability assessment of the injecting drug users in the hotspots. We also call it the needle syringe demand analysis. It also helps us ascertain how often and at what time should a peer educator be visiting a particular hotspot to provide various services.
Okay, what is the next step, sir?
Next is a very important step. We need to plan which peer educator would be best suited for a particular hotspot.
Sir, I am sure even for this you would have a tool or system in place. Am I right, sir?
You're right. Yes, the tools really help us to make the whole planning process easier. So here we use another tool which is called contact mapping. And the objective of contact mapping is to help us understand which peer educator is most suitable for a particular hotspot. In this exercise, each peer educator makes a list of the names of all the injecting drug users from a particular hotspot with whom he or she has a rapport. This helps us determine which peer educator is best suited for giving services at that particular hotspot. The outreach worker is also able to analyze whether all injecting drug users in the hotspot are being reached through the group of peer educators and take necessary steps for ensuring that.
Sir, this is a very comprehensive process. So, what is going to be our next step?
Well, the next step is developing the work plan. The ORWs and PEs use social map to understand the location of the hotspots and the important health centers such as ART, DOTS, etc. Then they do hotspot analysis to calculate how many needle syringes would be required at a particular hotspot and at what time. And finally, through contact mapping, they decide which PE would be most suitable for which hotspot. Based on all this, they develop a work plan with weekly targets for NSP in their assigned areas. The work plan is the final outcome of the NSP planning. It forms the basis for conducting needle syringe distribution through outreach. Come, I'll explain it.
Sir, now I can see how the work plan would make distribution very easy and effective. But I also see some people taking needles and syringes from
Yes.
the DIC.
We also provide needle syringes to the IDUs who visit our DIC. Usually this is done by the nurse or the outreach worker provides them.
Sir, are there any more plans to be made?
Yes, Paul. We need to plan the drives for the collection of the needle syringes scattered in the field. We organize weekly or fortnightly collection drives to pick up the used needle syringes from the hotspots. Since there is some level of risk involved, so we have to adhere to the NACO guidelines for safe collection and disposal of used needle syringes.
Sir, I wanted to know how do we get the required needles and syringes? I mean to say, how are they procured?
Simple. We procure them by placing an order to the supplier according to our demand. But our calculations are based on total needle syringe demand of all the spot analysis taken together. We also include in our calculations a buffer stock of 3 months to ensure that we always have enough stock to overcome delays in supplies, etc. So based on these, we procure on regular basis.
So sir, it must also be important to keep regular stock of these needles and syringes. So who maintains them and keeps a record?
Come, let me explain. Come with me. How are you, Sunil? Good. Sunil, meet Paul. He's our new outreach worker.
Hello.
And he is an A&M. It is the responsibility of an A&M or nurse to maintain the entire stock. And as a project manager, it is my duty to monitor this regularly.
Sir, in NSEP, what all else needs to be monitored?
Good question. Look, Paul, it is important to monitor that the day-to-day activities of the Needle Syringe Exchange Program are carried out on a regular basis. Got it?
Yes.
Come on. Sunil, you carry on. Come in, Paul. Come in with me.
Sir, shall I have any role to play in this monitoring process?
Yes, definitely, Paul. I'll explain. Have a seat, please. See, NSEP is monitored at 2 levels. Outreach workers monitor the activities of the peer educators at the field level, and the project manager monitors the overall performance of the Needle Syringe Exchange Program team. And this involves hotspot visits, weekly review with the outreach team, monthly analysis of records, etc.
So that means lots of records need to be maintained, am I right, sir?
Yes, Paul. Records need to be maintained for both internal and external purposes. Internally, for keeping track of activities and stocks for monitoring purposes, and externally to be able to report and share the good work that is being done.
So this must involve lots of paperwork?
Yes, there is a little bit of paperwork, but there are simple systems and tools that help us in the entire process, such as these. And once you understand them, it hardly takes any time to maintain the records.
Sir, so first we make the calculations and the plans for NSEP. Based on this plan, we reach out to the IDUs in their hotspots and provide them new needles and syringes and take back the old ones. Then we keep record of how many needles and syringes have been distributed and returned. And finally monitor how well all this has been done. Am I right, sir?
Paul, I must say, you brilliantly summed up the entire Needle Syringe Exchange Program. But for the NSEP to be effective, there's something more that needs to be done.
And what is that, sir?
Advocacy. See, though the Needle Syringe Exchange Program is endorsed by the National AIDS Control Organization, but this is also a fact that the drugs used by injecting drug users are mostly illegal. So as a result, the police at times raid the hotspots, arrest the injecting drug users, and they also question the peer educators engaged in the needle syringe distribution. So this affects the HIV intervention, making it essential to advocate with the police and other local authorities on a regular and continuous basis.
So sir, what all strategies do you have in place for such advocacy?
As a project manager, it is my responsibility to work with the police and other local authorities. We organize meetings and sensitization sessions with the police on drug use and explain why a needle syringe exchange program is important. Besides this, we also obtain letters of support from higher officials wherever it is possible.
And sir, what will be my role as an ORW?
The outreach team builds a rapport with local constables in charge of the area, and they regularly sensitize them on issues related to such as drug use, HIV prevention, benefits of needle syringe distribution as part of their day-to-day work.
And sir, what do you have to say about general community and also residents in the area?
Community advocacy is again essential to build a healthy environment for needle syringe exchange program. And for this purpose, we meet the family members, influential local persons, even religious leaders to ensure their continued support. So Paul, since you've seen and understood everything about NSEP, now tell me one thing, does all that overwhelm you?
No, sir, not at all. Actually, I'm quite excited. I feel it is very challenging.
Very good. So now, you do one thing. You read the standard operating procedure before the NSCP team comes back from the field. It will help you to understand NSCP and your roles and responsibilities within it.
Thank you, sir. I will read it carefully and thoroughly and may come back to you with a few more questions.
Most welcome. I'll be more than happy to answer any such question. All the best.